We build a quiet life. Kid, mortgage routines. One midnight question about her wanting excitement turned that safety into a liability.
Do you ever wake up and not know which side of the bed is yours anymore? Hey, I'm Julia. I'm here, on my side. Shane's side empty but warm, his snore doing that low rumble like a truck stuck in gear. I count ceiling seams until my eyes fuzz. The house smells like coffee and baby shampoo, like every morning that says we're doing fine. My hand reaches across the duvet where he was, and it's like touching an imprint. My fingers curl without thinking. Why does that feel like an accusation? We used to move like we were daring the world. Kissing felt like a dare. Now he kisses my forehead, soft and careful, like he's tucking a fragile thing away. He does the steady stuff. Work, bottles, bedtime, email at midnight. He changed a lot for us. I told myself I wanted that. But some part of me keeps asking, wanted it how long? I scroll sometimes. I tell myself it's research. Everyone does it, right? But the guilt/thrill is a weird mix. I watch things I promised I wouldn't. I think things I swore off. About being with other people. About being wanted in a way that wakes something up in me. About the smell of danger. Sounds dramatic when I say it out loud. But do you know the feeling of your pulse answering before your brain does? There was a night. No, not night, a porch. Midnight. Cicadas so loud the air vibrated. Our kid asleep inside. House quiet except for the neighbor's TV bleeding through. I was sitting on the step, cup of cold tea in my hand, trying out sentences in my head like they were skirts. Which one would cover me best? Shane came out and sat a decent foot away. Didn't touch me. He said, "We can talk." Flat as toast. I said, "I don't know what I want." Then, like a dare to myself, what if we tried something different? I tested it on him soft, an open thing. No rules. Well, rules, just room. His face folded like someone read him bad news. "You serious?" he asked. That one hit me like a hand. My stomach did that slow drop. I felt this tiny, stupid thrill, like I'd thrown a stone and was waiting to see if it made ripples. And when he recoiled, I felt triumphant for a second, because part of me wanted him to fight. Part of me wanted proof he still cared enough to hate losing me. But then he looked small, really small, and guilt crawled across my skin like cold fingers. Which was I supposed to be, victor or monster? I replay that porch, him in the dim light, the cup slipping from my fingers and thunking under the step, me bending to pick it up, heat flooding my face. My hand shook so badly I nearly scraped my knuckles. I could hear my own breath like a neighbor's TV, loud and wrong. Why did I say it out loud? Was I trying to fix a thing that was already broken? Or was I trying to fix me? Sometimes I talk myself in circles. I'm just looking, I tell myself. Curiosity, not intent. But then the images come and I panic because curiosity looks a lot like wanting when you stare at it long enough. What if wanting is the same as ruining? What if I'm just making my life into a neat headline? Woman trades steady for chaos. Is that who I am now? Am I still allowed to choose? He didn't yell. He went quiet. He rubbed his temples like he had a map he couldn't read. His hands tightened on the porch rail until his knuckles went white. That told me more than any rant would have. I wanted him to storm, to grab me, to demand. Instead, he looked like someone trying to remember how to be angry at a person he loved. That look, I keep seeing it. It's the face of someone who's been handed a version of himself he doesn't recognize. Sometimes in the dark I whisper, "What happened to us?" and get no answer. Silence answers back heavier than words. And then the little, snotty part of me thinks, maybe this is my chance. Maybe this is the only clean way out of the background of my own life. But then my hands clench and I taste metal and I know I'm being selfish. God, why am I always the one who wants the next thing? Why can't I be satisfied? I tell myself I'll go slow. I'll be ethical about it, honest in the abstract, vague in practice. I'll be fair, I'll set rules, I'll protect what matters. But rules always sound better in theory, don't they? The porch, the cup, the look. Those images loop when I try to sleep. And I don't know if I'm brave or cowardly anymore. I only know the door is open and I'm standing too close to it.
Hey, this is Shane. We were on that old blue couch. You know the one with the ugly coffee stain from when I dropped the mug after I proposed. Our boy was finally asleep upstairs, the TV humming some cartoon soundtrack like it was wallpaper. I thought she'd bring up the usual, dentist, school forms, money. She paced like she had a speech. Lip chewing, hands fisted. I figured it was a Bill talk. I was ready for boring. Then she said it. Like the weather. What if we tried an open thing? I laughed at first. Not a nice laugh. A short, hard bark because I thought she was messing with me. She didn't laugh. Her face went flat. My stomach did this ridiculous drop like an elevator malfunction. The floor felt further away. Are you serious right now? I asked. The voice surprised me, rougher than I wanted, sharp. I couldn't help staring at that stupid stain on the couch because I didn't have the guts to look at her. My hand dug into the armrest until the wood complained. I could feel the grain under my nails, the pressure building. She started listing rules like she was pitching a new plan at work. It doesn't have to mean anything. No friends, no coworkers, boundaries. She sounded like she was filing a report. My head buzzed. The words were paper against my ear. My chest tightened like somebody had wrapped a belt around it. Who does she picture when she says that? Who's already in her head while she sleeps next to me? Had this been rolling around in her mind for months, and I was the last to know? And worse, was that her way of telling me she's checked out but couldn't bring herself to say it straight? My fingers went numb on the armrest. She noticed. It doesn't mean I don't love you, she said. That line landed like someone tossing a pea at a brick wall. Love? Is love a checkbox now? Is it a clause in a contract? She said it flat, like it was an item on a list. I wanted to scream, then why isn't this enough? Why am I not enough? But the word stuck like something caught behind my teeth. I just sat there trying to breathe through the sound of the TV. The silence in that living room was a thing. It had weight and edges. Later in bed, she rolled over and started scrolling like nothing had happened, the phone glow painting the side of her face. I lay there looking at the ceiling, listening to her thumb clicks like they were little taps driving nails into something. I imagined her smiling at some message, that laugh that lifts her whole face. Was that laughter for me now? It felt ridiculous even as I thought it. Does jealousy make you stupid? Or does it make you honest? I'm not a talk it out kind of guy all the time. I do things. Fix a leaky pipe, get up early, show up. That's how I love. But hearing her list rules was like being offered an instruction manual for a relationship that didn't include me. I worked late so we could have this life. I cut off the stupid stuff I used to do because we needed a base. For what? To become someone who sleeps under the same roof, but is optional? My hands started to shake, so I rubbed them on my jeans. Anger came low and hot. Not poetic, the kind that makes your jaw clench and your palms sweat. I wanted to do something loud. Slam the door, throw the cushion, say something that would make the kids wake up. Instead, I stayed. I sat with the quiet, like you sit in an emergency room next to a machine that's beeping and you pretend it isn't changing the world. Are you serious? I asked again later, softer, because the second time I wanted the truth to land. She looked at me, eyes steady, like she'd made a decision and was offering me a seat at the table or not. I couldn't tell, and all these thoughts swarmed in. Did I do this to myself? Did I cut away too much of who I was? No more late nights, no more chasing thrills, just to turn into some boring guy she didn't even want anymore? Was I a challenge she conquered? And now that part's over, she's restless again?
That was me in the kitchen. Robe clinging to damp hair, syrup bubbling on the stove, our son drumming his spoon like he's in a parade. Normal Saturday. Family picture normal. My chest was a tight, compact thing, and my hands wouldn't stop twisting the tie of the robe. I'd done it. I'd gone out. I'd slept with Alex. Not heroic. Not even close to what I'd imagined in my head for months. Just fumbling. Too many drinks. Hands that didn't know the map of me. Afterwards, I lay on my back staring at the ceiling, thinking, that's it? I wrecked my marriage for this. I thought honesty would cut the rot. I told myself truth would be a clean wound. So I said it like it's casual. I went out last night. I was with someone. My voice came out too steady, and then not steady at all. Shane didn't even look at me. He kept flipping pancakes like a machine. The spatula clicked, the batter hissed. He said it. One small heavy syllable. Oh. That, oh, hit harder than any shout could have. It wasn't anger. It wasn't shock. It was the kind of sound that makes you feel small and obvious, like you've been caught wearing someone else's name tag. I wanted to step forward and take it back, laugh, say I'm kidding, anything. Instead, I kept standing there, gripping the rim of the sink until the knuckles went white. My mouth tasted like pennies. Why did I think blinking the truth would fix anything? Why did I imagine confession made things better? Was I trying to be noble or stupid? Or was I trying to make the mess I'd made into something tidy, like folding clothes, like it could be organized and put away? The house smelled like butter and coffee and regret. He continued cooking like a man on autopilot. His shoulders were square, jaw tight, the muscle in his cheek jumping with every strain. He set a plate down in front of me without looking, and I felt the floor tilt. My son smeared syrup on his chin and laughed. The sound felt obscene, like a laugh in a church. I wanted him to yell. I wanted the fireworks. Instead, Shane sealed himself up. He gave me silence as a punishment. My hand shook so bad I nearly dropped the mug. I stared into the dark coffee like it was a mirror. The face staring back looked older somehow, like bad wallpaper peeling. I turned the cup and felt my palm go slick. Was this what I wanted, this hollow? I kept thinking about the way Alex's hand had felt, the dumb warmth of it, and then the after. Cold sheets, the taste of regret like burnt toast. What was I chasing? Thrill? Proof I still mattered? Or just a break from the steady, which I convinced myself was the same as dead? Say something. I mouthed at Shane, but my voice wouldn't obey. He didn't look up. He moved like someone who's learned the safest thing is to be smaller than a problem. I thought, tell me to leave. Tell me I ruined everything. But when I imagined his face twisted with rage, I felt an ugly relief, because maybe then there'd be a fight, and fights are at least real. Silence is worse. Silence is a slow eraser. Why couldn't I be satisfied with what I had? We had a life, small, messy worm. Coffee in the mornings, DVR shows, a kid who asked dumb questions and made us laugh until we cried. Was I so greedy that I'd trade that for a night I couldn't even remember properly? God, why am I always the one chasing something brighter? Why do I keep thinking the light's behind the next door?
You ever stand in the middle of a life you built and catch yourself wondering if you traded the only thing that kept it interesting? I used to be loud, stupid, and available. Nights that didn't end until the sun made the bar lights look ridiculous. Julia stayed. She didn't run. So I put the old stuff in a box. I learned to make coffee at dawn, to show up at soccer practice, to be the steady guy. I told myself I'd done the right thing. I thought she wanted that version of me, solid, reliable, boring in the best way. But after she asked about opening the marriage, I started replaying every quiet night. Was that the problem? Did she miss the noise more than she admitted? Was she attracted to the man I stopped being? I asked myself that a lot. In the shower, while I fixed the sink on the ride home from work. Do women get a thrill from a wild version of man? Or did I just make myself small and she left because I wasn't interesting? Am I supposed to read signals that were never given? I couldn't decide if I was being paranoid or honest. That kind of doubt sits in your throat and makes every small thing feel like evidence. Then there was the night. Anchor moment. Work party, too many people, plenty of booze. Sarah from HR was there, the type who laughed loud, the kind of presence that fills a corner. She'd flirted before, tiny stuff, nothing I'd ever answered. That night the music was too loud and my head felt full of static. One drink turned into 3. I laughed at things I didn't mean to find funny. Sarah slid close and said, "You look like you could use a break." Her hand brushed mine. In that tiny, stupid contact, something old and slick uncoiled. I remember the hotel, not like a movie, but like a sequence of small details. The room key sharp edge, the smell of soap on the towel, the way the light from the street made a bar across her shoulder. We did it, not because she was the one, but because I want a line to cross, to prove I could still, to prove something to myself or to her, or to nothing at all. After, lying there with the ceiling fan pointless above us, it hit me. This isn't a thing that will bring me back together with anyone. It's a thing that makes a clean, stupid mess. Morning was a hammer. Head pounding, the elevator dinged like a clock, and everything small and bright seemed wrong. I went to my brother. I told him like you tell someone a stupid fact, like it is something that happened to someone else. I slept with someone, I said. He didn't yell. He didn't say the right thing. He just blinked and asked the practical stuff. Who? Where? Why? Because people prefer facts to feelings. The facts were clear to me. The marriage had the smell of burned toast. Not dramatic, just ruined in a way you can't polish out. So I did the adult thing, the one I'd always thought I knew how to do. I called a lawyer. No dramatic exchanges. No scenes. I made an appointment. I showed up. I signed papers. The hands that steadied the family were steady when I pushed the pen down. Maybe that's what I'd become. A man who could make hard decisions without flair. Maybe steadiness makes endings cleaner. Who knows? Afterward, when the paperwork moved and the house felt like an echo, Sarah reached out. It was awkward at first. A text, then a coffee, then a dinner that wasn't a one-night mistake. I didn't plan to turn it into a thing. But there's comfort in small things, too. Someone who knows the same jokes, who doesn't demand an explanation for late nights, who laughs at the same stupid office memes. Did I start dating her because I loved her? No, not at first. But being with her felt like being with a person who didn't carry the weight of a life I was leaving. It was lighter. It was easier. It wasn't the wild life I remembered. It was something else, something quieter and immediate. Am I a bastard for moving on so quick? Maybe. Did I do it to spite Julia or to soothe myself? Partly both, partly neither. What I learned is this. Change doesn't always save you. Sometimes you change, and people miss a version of you you don't even remember being. And sometimes you don't change, and they leave anyway. Either way, you keep moving, or you get stuck. I chose to keep moving.
It felt like I was staring at ghosts. That's what happened the night I pulled out our honeymoon album. I was sitting on the floor of my tiny apartment, surrounded by boxes I still hadn't unpacked. The lamp cast this weak yellow light, and the place smelled like takeout I hadn't thrown away. I opened the album, and there we were, suntanned, grinning, sand stuck to our skin. Shane's arm around me, his laugh frozen mid-shot, my hair wild from the ocean. We looked so happy, so stupidly in love, and my chest tightened until I couldn't breathe. I pressed my fingers to the photo like I could step back inside it. My hands shook. My throat ached. I whispered, "What happened to us?" Like the paper could answer me. After the divorce, I'd thought I wanted freedom. Thought I'd step into some exciting new life. I moved in with Jake, one of the flings, thinking he was the opposite of Shane. Wild, spontaneous. But living with him was nothing like sneaking around. Dishes piled up, bills went unpaid, he stayed out until dawn, and when he was home, his phone lit up with messages from other women. I remember finding it on the counter one night, screen glowing. Names I didn't recognize. Plural. My stomach dropped. My hand shook so bad I nearly dropped the damn thing. "God, I'm such an idiot," I whispered. And it hit me. I'd thrown away my marriage for this. After Jake, I went off the rails. Dating anyone who'd look at me, chasing that spark I thought I needed. But every guy just made me miss Shane more. None of them knew me. Not like he did. Not like he chose to once. The worst day was a drop-off. I drove our son to his dad's like I always do and thought I could handle it. I walked up, keys in my hand, rehearsed my smile. He opened the door and she was there, younger, laughing, that same laugh that used to belong to me. He looked at her with a look I used to think was only for me. My knees went out from under me. I made it to the car before the crying started. Full-on ugly crying, face in my hands, mascara like black rivers. Couldn't catch my breath. Couldn't believe I'd handed that up. What do you do with a face like that in your memory? How do you put it back into a frame that doesn't make you flinch? I kept thinking about the porch, that midnight, the way his hands tightened when I said I wanted room. Did I ask for the wrong thing? Did I think an open door would give me space when it really meant the world on the other side would be rearranged without me? People say divorce is like a death. For me, it was worse. At least death ends clean. This This is me watching my old life keep walking, laughing, living without me. Watching Shane move on, build something new, while I sift through the ashes of what I burned down. I try to tell myself it's a rebirth, that I can rebuild, that I can focus on my son, on being better, on not repeating the same mistakes. Some days I almost believe it, but then I see a photo, or hear a laugh that sounds like his, and my chest aches all over again. So was it worth it? Was the thrill, the so-called freedom, worth destroying the only thing that ever felt real? I think I know the answer. But it doesn't matter anymore, does it? Some bells, once rung, can't be unrung. And now I'm left living in the silence that follows,